What's going on? We got Blake dancing over here. I saw him in the background. I couldn't help but laugh. We are alive. Welcome back to the Team Netcode channel. This is Sprint Car Nights. I am Josh Gerlach. That is Kade Higday and Blake Walker. Yes, we are down a Blake right now. Blake Anderson will be joining us here shortly. He had to attend to the day job, Skagit Speedway meeting. So Blake Anderson will be joining us here very shortly. We are going to be talking all things Tulsa Shootout, a little bit of High Limit International, and then the upcoming Chili Bowl. It was a nice break, boys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed your holiday. Everybody watching at home, hope you enjoyed your holiday as well. Blake, not so much. You're alive though, so you made it through influenza A. So yeah, it's good to be back. Make sure if you are watching this live, you hit the share button, hit like. That will help us out a lot. Hit subscribe, and also make sure to leave us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you listen to your podcast. That really does help us out a lot. Couple news items before we dive into things. I mentioned the Chili Bowl next week. No show. Obviously, this is Tuesday, so we're usually live on Mondays. We will not be doing that next week because we will be live post-race every night of the Chili Bowl next week. It will be some sort of hodgepodge of us three at some point. Blake might be late to one, might miss one. Kade is not available some days, but we're going to do that. We're shooting for right after the checkered flag falls on each night that we'll be going live and just kind of shooting the shit here with you guys and talking through Chili Bowl action. And then we have some other stuff. This is an announcement of announcement that we've got some cool stuff coming down the pike that we can't talk about yet. But a lot of things. We got some more content that's going to be coming in 2026. Knoxville Nights, Knoxville specific, and some other stuff. So I'm done rambling. Boys, how was your holidays? Blake, try to put aside your sickness. Hopefully you guys had a good holiday and good new year.
It was good. It was good to see the family. I went home the 20th back in Grinnell. So I was like, I'm gonna be there for a couple weeks. And yeah, Christmas Eve, I felt just fine. Went to a church service up in Cedar Falls on Christmas Eve, felt fine. I woke up at 3 a.m., technically Christmas Day, and I felt terrible. Went to the doctor a couple days later, had influenza A, so I was out for a week. I mean, just sick, really sick. So unfortunately for like the High Limit International stuff, and I'm not gonna be able to give a lot of intake because I did not watch. I was barely sleeping, and I was just so out of it. But yeah, it was a good holiday. There was great racing on, and yeah, pretty fun.
Yeah, I got lucky and caught my crud the week before, so I was getting over mine for the holidays, and like you said, got to spend some time with family, and yeah, it was great.
Knock on wood, I've avoided it so far. So not going to jinx myself because jinxes aren't real. But glad you guys are doing better. Had a good holiday myself. So ready to get after it. Like I said, we got some really exciting stuff that is coming that I can't wait to talk about here soon. Hopefully. Really looking forward to that. So we will go ahead. Just a quick little touch on High Limit International. It's a little dated here at this point, but I know you did. I think all of you, whether it was live or not, you guys did get to catch most, if not all, the racing that happened down under. I think that was another highly successful event. Big hat tip to everybody that was involved. Gavin Migro at Perth Motorplex, everybody with High Limit, Flow. Great. I mean, the vibes at that place, especially on the finale night, looked incredible. I mean, it looked like you had a rave that broke out. I saw somebody post on Twitter that was like the perfect description of that. That I think is what more crown jewel events, if you want to call them that. I know some people don't like that, but big scale sprint car events, look to what they did there. I think that was kind of the way to go, in my opinion. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I mean, the place around Perth and that whole area is beautiful. I maybe it was Toby or someone that told us beforehand, maybe Brian Walker, that a lot of Americans are starting to go down there to watch,
yeah, Toby,
which is awesome. I mean, that's awesome, and that's great as well. And obviously the Australian community, but yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. They I like the timing. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but like, you could still watch the feature if you're on the East Coast, 8 a.m. You can watch the feature. I mean, that's not bad at all. West Coast, you got to wake up a little bit earlier at 5 a.m. But I mean, I thought that was really well done. I mean, I know that's later in Australia. That's almost midnight over in Australia, but some of our races happen at midnight. I mean, that's just how it goes. But just to be able to catch that full audience, I thought it was really well done, well put together again. And it just felt like a high limit show with the Australian side sprinkled in.
I agree 100%. And the races were spectacular. I mean, we'll talk about it here, but the West Coasters can get up a little bit earlier because we have to stay up so much later to watch their races.
Very true. Yeah, speaking of the racing, I'm scrambling a little bit here because like I said, I kind of overlooked this. A little rusty.
There's been a lot of racing that went on between.
Buddy Copeland won a night. If I'm correct.
Yeah, I was about to say my brain's also mush from watching a million races last week.
Didn't put that in the notes, but Buddy Copeland did win a night.
Yes,
it wasn't the Perth. It wasn't the high limit event, but Corey Day went like 25th to 3rd or 2nd one of the nights
after a provisional, which I know did get some people a little up in arms, which we could debate that. But yeah, Corey Day he won the first night there, and then Buddy Kofoid, like you said, and then Kyle Larson put on a hell of a show on the finale night, and a phenomenal, and I say phenomenal. That track looks amazing. We were very hyped after that happened. And I think we were already like starting to kind of hypothetically plan out a trip to Perth because that facility, that racetrack and the racing that it provided, oh my God, that was amazing. And big tip of the cap to Dane Kingshot. That dude, if he I texted you boys. If he raced Kyle probably the way that Kyle would have raced him, I think he probably would have won because I think he had an opportunity to really send it there in turns 3 and 4 coming to the white flag, but didn't dirty anybody up. You know, he had a groove about that big out of his tire on the right rear too from the Nerf bar. He opened some eyes for sure.
Yeah,
he did that with a smashed header too. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's just an awesome track. I mean, I think Kyle said it in his post race. He's like, it's one of his favorite tracks in the world. I mean, you know, better than a lot of what we see.
Actually, I think he said his favorite now, which, they say that a lot.
Okay, Kyle, yeah, we get it. I mean, you said that about Knoxville a couple of years ago. But
it happens after you win. You say it's your favorite.
He'll win the Daytona 500 eventually, and he'll be like, this is a great track, best track. But, yeah, it's an awesome facility, and they knew what they were doing when they built the thing, and they had high aspirations, and they sure do talk the talk, and it walks the walk when it comes to the type of show that it puts on. So they should be really proud of what they have over there.
Absolutely. And another guy that really stood out, an American, Cole Macedo. I felt like he was a threat there. Didn't really mix it up for the lead, I wouldn't say, but he was top 5, top 10 for most of those 3 nights. And Jock Goodyear was also really, really good. I was a little surprised that McFadden wasn't mixing it up as much. I know he ran into some issues on the finale, but that was a little surprising to me. Otherwise, though, hell of a show. I hope they, keep doing it for a long time. It sounds like, speaking of, Toby with Sprint Car Hub, he did get some words from Brad Sweet, and it sounds like there at least are a lot of, there's hope that this could turn into a very long-term deal with them. So, fingers crossed that they are able to continue growing that event and turn it into something even bigger.
Could just have a high limit series in Australia. I mean, maybe not all Americans in it, obviously. Let the Australians go, but I mean, they'll come over here and race sometimes. Why not we go over there and race sometimes? I don't know. It just seems like
true high limit international at that point.
Yeah, the crowd is there, and they have the audience for it. And I don't know. I think it's really fun to watch. We don't have it on here, but Aaron Reitzel also stays winning. He did win the other night. I did see it down in Australia. So really cool.
Justin Whittle also, he's had himself a pretty damn good stretch out there as well. I haven't kept up with it as much here recently just because of the shootout and so much stuff happening there. But he had been solid. It was cool seeing Ayrton Geniton make the trip down there as well. Curious to talk to those guys and see what the trip was like. And we didn't even talk about it. Caleb Montgomery, he was tearing it up down there in New Zealand with racing with Tanner Holmes and stuff too.
It's just the guys you don't expect. You expect the big names, but then the other guy, I mean, Riley Goodnow went down there for a little bit. I mean, that's just the guys can tear it up, and
it's a cool measuring stick, I think.
Yeah. Even the Australians that come here, Jock Goodyear obviously is a phenomenal race car driver. I hope he's coming back because I feel like he was just hitting his stride when he went back this past summer. But yeah,
Yep.
it's
Same with
a lot
Lockie
of fun.
McHugh. I know Lockie's been
Yep.
winning a lot recently. I do hope, especially Dane. Like from what I've gathered, Dane, Perth is his place. He's basically like, our Knoxville Knights audience would understand. It's a Knoxville regular, and he was out there,
It's like Dave Blaney at
kind of,
chair.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes in the future. I'd like to see more of those Aussies come over here. So hopefully we can get more out of those guys.
We had Tulsa Shootout happen. I mean it truly when I say
Small
it.
event.
I tweeted it the other night. It gained a little bit of traction. And I truly meant it. I think a lot of people looked at the Tulsa Shootout as like, it's just the 2 weeks before the Chili Bowl. Like, that's where everybody goes down. Everybody gets a chance. Yeah, you get a golden driller. These last 2 years, especially last year, was one of probably the best Tulsa Shootout we've ever seen. This year, while the racing and the features maybe wasn't the best that we've ever seen, the car count, entries, everything, like you have to watch the Tulsa Shootout. It is just one of the better and fastest growing events that we've seen in dirt racing. 2,000 plus entries, 43 states, 6 countries across all classes. Absolutely unbelievable. It started on Monday. There was just practice. As someone that was bedridden, I was very sad to turn it on, just see it was a still camera of cars going around. I'm like, I gotta wait one more day. But you bet I was up pretty much every morning at 10 a.m. and had it on in the background. I mean, my whole family was watching football in the living room, and I'm sitting there with my laptop watching shootout. Is that kind of what you guys' watching experience was? It felt like if it's not one of those events that you fully pay attention to, it's one of those you can have on in the background and you can watch because you're going to hear names over the course of the week or that you've heard and be like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is too, like it's basically a smaller car Chili Bowl, really, with 4 classes or 6 classes, whatever there is, 4 adult classes. I mean, you have late model guys, modified guys, sprint car guys, midget guys. It truly is a Chili Bowl on a smaller race car, I think.
And shame on me, Blake. I unfortunately was one of those people in the past. This was the first one where I pretty much tuned into everything that I could, and it did not disappoint whatsoever. And I hate because I'm quoting someone here, but you're basically watching the future of sprint car racing at that event. So it's like if you're a sprint car fan, you got to watch that because you've got so many good young guys that are just damn good, and we'll get to them here later. But I was very impressed, and it never ceases to amaze me, especially during Shootout and Chili Bowl. Everything that the on-site crew does, the broadcast crew, which we'll talk to Blake about that here shortly, hopefully. Just officials, safety workers, everybody that's involved. That is just such a monumental task. They are probably, I know there's shifts, but like that place is going for, I don't know how many hours a day, and they just click through those races. I know it helps not having to push anybody, but that was very impressive to me. And then, the on-track action was, great as well. And I mean, I'm looking forward to next year and looking forward to next week, honestly.
It's so smooth. I mean, it's just one race out, next race in. I mean, and especially those younger kids, as someone that has worked at English Creek, that's hard. Like, especially when they have a wreck and it's always a red flag because they always want the kids to stop. And yes, they have to line them up, but they're so efficient on everything. Up and down the ramp, there's really not many holdups, and the track prep is really quick. I mean, Saturday, they literally started early. They were like, well, I mean, why wait around? We're just going to keep this thing rolling. I mean, what?
Let's do that next Saturday.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can only hope what happens next Saturday. But we finished at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night here at Central Time. I mean, that's phenomenal. So, and that's Central Time in Tulsa as well. So, yeah, it's always
that's
fun
that's how you get more fans to watch it. Also, that is a big thing. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I just think it's really well put together, and I'm sure the concourse areas run well. I'm sure the food's great that they keep pushing in and out. It just seems like a really well-oiled machine that they always continue to want to improve on, and they're going to have to find more room. I mean, that's just a given. I hopefully we can get Brian Holbert on here eventually because I know he gets asked that question so much. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
It's a
I
good
did
problem,
see
but it's real.
the biggest thing I saw this week was trailer size. Make the trailer size smaller, or just no trailers at all. I mean, that's
Pull a
probably
Tanner
what's gonna.
Thorson for
Yeah,
Chili Bowl.
yeah. It's tough. It's tough.
What do you do in that case, Kade? I mean, I know you would argue to have your trailer in there, but
Absolutely. I mean, it's a no-win situation, really. Not everybody's going to be happy no matter what they do. If they kick the trailers out, the bigger teams are going to be super pissed because they have all their stuff that they need for the 15 cars they have there or whatever. But like you said, I mean, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and you have to do something at some point.
yeah, for sure. Before we jump in, I did forget another thing. We're a little rusty, like I said. Kade is going to be on a little bit of a break from the show here over the next few weeks because he's having to move shops. So, real life race car stuff for whatever reason takes precedence over this. So we'll allow it for now. But don't worry, Cade's still part of this. He's just going to be missing a little bit. But he will be back for Knoxville nights and everything. So wanted to head that off and get that out of the way here early before we dive into anything.
Realistically, it will translate into wins. So the time that he misses
right.
now will translate to winning in July, in June.
That's right.
See how everything
Hopefully
works out.
before then too. That'd be all right.
Well, yeah. Opening day, why not? It's
And I know
coming.
it's not the first time you've worn it, but I spy a little purple KHR on that hat there.
This is actually the first time I've worn this one. I usually wear the black one. The black one got a little bit of mud splattered on it, so I busted out the gray one.
I get your camera flipped.
yeah, your RHK hat looks nice.
Oh, jeez. I'll fix that next time.
There was just another quick news thing. We're not stalling, but we're kind of holding out for Blake to show up. Blake will, if we'll talk about some of the stuff that did happen at Tulsa, and then Blake might get on for Chili Bowl preview and stuff. Tony Stewart was named the Grand Marshal of the Chili Bowl. That's awesome. So cool. We need more Tony Stewart dirt racing. I just like seeing Tony around. 2002 and 2007 champion. So really cool to see Tony Stewart back at it, and they're going to enjoy his presence on Saturday when he shows up. So
for sure. You nailed it.
We need to talk him into getting Rico back in a midget for the Chili Bowl.
Yeah. Boy, the videos of Rico winning are starting to come back up, and I don't know how his brain was okay after he did that burnout. I watched that burnout this morning, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, just spinning. I mean, he almost flips the thing. I'm like, geez.
I like the donuts. Donuts are making a comeback. We have Tim's doing them at Nationals. Kyle did them at High Limit International. I obviously see him at Shootout, and we'll probably see him at the Chili Bowl too. Like that. Let's bring the donuts back. Keep all fours down.
Does flip it, yes.
Yep, all fours on the ground, please.
Eventually, but that's how it goes.
That kid in the A class was ripping some fat donuts on Saturday. That was a good one.
That was really fun to watch. So preliminary notes. I put down all the stuff that was like everything that kind of happened that kind of stood out, whether it was social media worthy. Do I have names for all these things that happened? No, because even when I went back on Flow and they had videos of all this stuff, they don't even say names. Like there's like parts where they're just like, these two guys are fighting or something like that. The first big thing of news that came out that I thought was really interesting was the Larson family won everything on Sunday into Monday night, technically. Kyle, Owen, and Audrey, who did race this past week, all won in the span of 24 hours. Owen and Audrey won their heat races. Larson won over in Australia, all in the span of 24 hours. Somebody asked B-Walk, they're like, has that ever happened? He's like, how could it have ever happened?
A father, son, and daughter all win like that?
In the span of 24 hours.
Yeah, that's never happened.
Somebody tried to say, maybe the Kinsers didn't. No. That's just really cool. It was really fun to see Owen and Audrey all week. And then Kyle raced just a little bit as well. Kyle missed his practice, obviously, because of Australia. And he said that he wished he would have had it. Feels like he maybe could have been just a little bit better. The big
it's cool seeing dad mode Kyle. In Flow, I thought did a cool video package with Clinton Boyles and Audrey and Kyle and Owen. That was really cool. It's interesting. Someone like my age, and seeing how he has progressed in his career and now it is wild to see his kids are winning Tulsa Shootout races. It's like, I'm getting really old, guys. That's why we need other Blake on here, because I'm not the oldest. It's nice, but really cool for that family, and we're only going to keep hearing about them. That's for sure.
Can we
That's
talk about
another-
Clinton? Or go
I
ahead.
was gonna say that's another thing worth touching on. What a busy week for Clinton Boyles.
Oh,
I mean,
my
he's
gosh.
got the Larsons, and then he's got the Flow broadcast, and he's trying to race on top of that. The racing
was
is enough to do in the first.
Was it made
place.
public that he? It sounds like is he joining Silva, that crew, and like
I
going
have
on the
no
road with
idea.
Kyle and
I
all
didn't
them?
hear that.
Because I've heard, and people keep talking about his new opportunity, and he kept talking about how being at the shop and being there with Owen and Audrey and helping and learning from Paul. So I'm putting puzzle pieces together. I'm guessing that is what has happened. Haven't seen any.
Drive.
Yeah, I know, right? Especially with the hide breeder car, which that's a news point that Ian Madsen's going to drive that this year. He was winning races at the end of the year last year. So you bring up a good point though. I can't imagine that is very easy, and trying to stay focused has got to be tough.
And he's so good at it. Like,
Yeah.
he is so good in the booth. I mean, there are points where he will just call the race with Caleb or whoever it is. So he's just really good at it. And he was honest. I mean, he got out of the car one time, he ran over a guy, or he got contact, and he's like, yeah, here's what happened. And he's like, he's got all right to be mad, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're right, Kade. I mean, it's just like, how do you I mean, like, he's out of the car, his heat race would finish, and then 10 minutes later he's in the booth. It's like, what? Crazy.
And he's good. Like he
very good.
provides really good insight, good, really fills the analyst role well. Did just get an update. Sounds like Blake might be wrapping up, so we might be getting him here soon. We'll see. But yeah, he's a wheel man too. And I respect someone that can do something like that, because there's so much going on in that event already. Just being a driver, and like you can have so much downtime. I would love to ask him. It probably helps a little bit fill some of that downtime if you've got 4 or 5 hours. I almost threw a 6-7 in there for you guys, because that was a thing they were doing on the broadcast too.
Well,
But
Clinton kept doing it, and then he's like, I'm gonna have to stop, because he's like, I walk around, all these kids are like, oh, 6-7, Clinton.
But I mean, that would suck, having that much downtime in between races, and that gives you a lot of time to think about stuff, which is not good, I'm sure, Kade, as a race car driver, sitting there thinking a lot. But yeah, cool. Hopefully we can see him in the driver's seat a little bit more.
Maybe we should try that this year, next year, whenever you're not in a 360, during a race night, you just pit report for the pro sprints, and then we'll see what happens.
If you find me some good crew guys, I'd do it.
Yeah, if
Yorkie.
you never had to touch the car.
Yorkie, you got some more responsibilities.
Yeah, I need them weekly. That's the problem.
Day one had the highlight clip. Literally happened like an hour into the day. Gabe Zanner, I don't know the last name, but his first name's Gabe. He like flipped down the front straightaway, caught a rut, and then flipped over top of the catch fence in turn one. Mind you, these catch fences
He went through the fence.
These are temporary catch fences. These aren't like heavy duty Knoxville ones. And of all the places, he kind of gets caught in the fence, and it like lifts him, or it lowers him down, and it drops him right into a dumpster. Now, why is the dumpster sitting there? I'm not really sure. There was nothing in the dumpster, but he landed his micro in the dumpster. And the best part of it all was that it was an AI on the side of the dumpster. It literally says no parking on the side of the dumpster. If the guy has
incredible.
shirts, he needs to make shirts. He needs to do everything he can to jump on it. Probably one of the craziest wrecks I've ever seen at Tulsa. I mean, just insane.
I've never seen a car wreck into a dumpster before.
Yeah,
ever.
Same. Have you guys seen the in-car video from that?
I have not.
Dude, it was a humdinger. That was a hell of a ride, and then he lands it right in the dumpster.
Thankfully, he landed like
he kind
of right ways up, and it wasn't like upside down. That would have sucked.
Yeah, they would have had to get the forklift underneath, lift it up, out, and then get him out. Like,
yeah,
they'd have been better just sticking the forklift underneath the dumpster and flipping the dumpster over.
Yeah.
I
had totally forgotten about that too. That just goes. I told you my brain was mush after watching 400 races last week. That was insane. I remember texting that to you guys, and it was just,
what was the count? 430 some races, something like that.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to think back to Boone for Super Nationals. I cannot remember how many that was. It might have been in the 500, 600s, but something like
So
that.
much
But,
racing.
which that's a bigger track. That tells you what Boone does. That's why they go till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But we had a helmet throw that didn't hit anything, didn't get the driver's name, but he got wrecked and took his helmet off with the Hans and threw it at a guy and he missed. So that's fun.
Throw less expensive stuff.
I was gonna
maybe.
say, Kade. Yeah, I was gonna say, Kade. Let's talk about this for a second. These helmets are pretty expensive. Can you believe these people throw these things around like it's willy-nilly?
I will say, if I get mad enough, I'll toss mine in my trailer, but I don't like throw it against the wall or throw it at somebody else.
At a moving car.
Yeah. But God, the helmet and Hans combo that's a good chunk of change he's throwing wherever he threw it.
That's why you just got to give a little wheel frisbee, Adam. Steering wheel frisbee. That thing.
Those things aren't cheap anymore either.
Well, very true. I mean, that's true. Yeah. Hey, I'm trying. That doesn't protect your head, but it does make sure you don't have a wheel. Didn't somebody lose a steering wheel or a wheel came off or something during?
Yeah,
the race?
that was ironically the last thing or the next thing in line here. We did have a tire that came off and it like ramped over the side of the wall, hit almost the top of the ceiling.
It got some serious air.
Yeah, luckily did not land in the grandstands, but fell just short. We were talking
pay
about
attention when you're at the races. That is why you always pay attention.
Talking on that too, I did see one onboard video. This kid, his steering wheel just fell off in his hands and he climbed up the wall.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The steering wheel, that's got to be a shitty feeling.
Yeah, that's
there was a guy that rode the wall. I did see that. Like got up on the fence and then came back down perfectly fine. Didn't
Tony Rost.
Yeah, Tony Rost. Yeah. We had a couple middle fingers thrown, but a lot more thumbs up this year. Like a lot of thumbs up. Like
that was weird.
A lot of the kids aren't ready to flip middle fingers yet, so they just give double thumbs up.
There was a young lady that she was very unhappy, and she did. I think she did a good job.
Her interview was the best I've ever seen.
Yes. Props to her. Sometimes we could learn from the children. You know, keeping a cool head, giving thumbs up.
Again, we're so bad with names right now, but there was a guy that he was the guy wanted to fight him, and the kid was like, all right, if you want to fight, let's go on the front stretch. But the guy didn't want to. He's like, what are you talking? Do you want to fight or not? And they talked to him and he's like, well, I'm just trying to set an example for these kids. You know, we don't need to be yelling at each other, blah, blah, blah. So yeah. And I think the rules still, I mean, they want you to fight at the top of the ramp, do they?
No, on the front stretch.
They want you to fight on the front stretch.
Okay.
Is that shootout or chili bowl though?
Because
there's a lot.
Probably
is it?
all of it. Huh? Yeah, probably all of it We did have
a
fake fight.
Yet.
This video is on YouTube. We did have a fake fight. These two guys just got up to the top of the ramp and like started screaming at each other. And I tell you what, they were actually pretty good actors because they tackled each other and it was wild. So
there was a real semi fight. Got somebody kicked out.
Yeah,
but then they were allowed to race later too.
I didn't get all the names, but Jace Park flipped the guy's hat. He was in a little bit of a pushing match, and then I don't know if Jace Park was part of the wreck or not. But Jace came in and like flipped the top of his hat off. And I don't know if you ever flick a man's hat off, but I just feel like that's not really in the code.
Did Dominic Gordon get the worst of that too? Like he got shoved up against the car.
Jace walks away and the poor kid that's in the middle of it gets the worst of it, which leads to Ethan Wicker getting escorted out. That was probably the biggest brawl of the week. We had two guys fighting and the one guy's camera guy came up and showed the guy the video on his camera of what went wrong. And they were able to catch on media the angry driver telling the camera guy, he's like, I'm not mad at you, man. I'm just trying to see the replay.
That is a bold move, by the way. That's another thing that's a lot of money. You're just sticking in the middle of a mosh pit.
That's what somebody said. I can't remember. It might have been Caleb or Chris Wilner. He's like, that's a lot of really fancy equipment to put in the middle of that for one guy to just put a hand down. Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, and Tulsa, you expect that, but I think a lot of people, the rap that if it's younger kids and it's the parents fighting, I don't think we really saw that this week. I will say the interviews were great. I applaud all those guys at Flow, and we can talk to Blake about that. Like they interviewed every single heat qualifier winner, and some of those kids, I mean, they just they don't want to talk. Like they were asking them what their favorite food was. They were asking them all these different things. Some guys had great sound bites.
Steak.
Chet
Steak is a very popular
Steak,
young
yeah.
That was a hit
person
this year.
meal,
That was a
which I was
hit.
like, oh shit, I wasn't eating that much steak when I was like 8 years old, but well, cool.
Like
good
mac
for
and
you.
cheese and pizza, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
all I kept thinking about was Chet Christner had a great tweet at the beginning of the week, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. How many drivers say can't thank enough? Like it's
Flea
actually
Ruzick said the same. I
almost
can't stand that also.
it's almost everyone. Like one kid, I don't know who it was. He caught himself. He's like, that's not the right thing to say. But so many people. See, I can't thank my sponsors enough. That's not how you word that. Like, and Chet, he's one of the producers for Flow, obviously former voice. If you don't know who Chet Christner is, you don't watch dirt racing. But he had a good point. He's like, when you're wording these things. But I will say some of those kids, they got their sponsors down,
They do, and we do need
do
a
need
can't
to
thank counter next year.
counter
We
next
would have
year.
maybe a comma or 2 commas in that counter.
Something like that.
But and speaking of kids and interviews, Braxton Flatt is like that was
him and Braxton were really good. When
they were
did
so
their-
good. Braxton was great. And something also that I noticed, which might sound a little cheesy, but it was refreshing just to see a lot of those buddies. Like whenever they would win on Saturday, like there would be
they all
a number
went
of
down there.
number of other drivers that went up there and like were happy for their buddies. That's refreshing, especially when things get pretty testy in the expo center. So I just like seeing that. That's probably just me being old, being a softie, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Had a kangaroo. There.
Kangaroo.
Yep.
The kangaroo was there. The Chris Moore went on top of a hauler, which was pretty good.
Couldn't fit in Clinton's car either.
Yeah, that was funny. When he tried to get in Clinton's car, they had the one kid that they followed all the way back to his hauler, and then when he went into his hauler, they turn around and like half the expo center's walking with him, and it's like everybody wants to see a fight. That
was the one that they went up into the trailer too. I was like, whoa, that's a little
police officer.
The camera going past the cop. Yeah, it's like we probably could stay out of the trailer, but that's not me.
Not
And
ideal, but
of all the people that kicks him out of the trailer, it's a guy wearing a Flow shirt.
Yeah,
he's like, he probably shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, it was really fun. Flo just had so many great moments. We talked about Brexton. Brexton outdueled his dad. They kept trying to promote it. They had Brexton versus Kyle, the Bush son and father duo. Kyle, I believe my number is correct. Brexton outdueled him 3-2. I think they raced each other 5 times over the course of a week, and Brexton ended up beating his dad.
What a smart racer. It was very illuminating hearing him on the mic and then listening to or watching him race after that. That kid gets it, man. He's got the mindset.
Like, will he go to asphalt? Probably.
Well, his dad already told us what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for us, he's going to NASCAR.
The reason he's in dirt is because Kyle saw what Kyle Larson did and said, well, that's the blueprint. I mean, that's just what we got to do. I also think we talked about Braxton Flatt, very impressive. If you want to watch him, he might be back at English Creek this year, so watch him. I didn't think Wyatt Miller had as good of a week as he probably wanted. He got upside down late in the week, but Wyatt, a former Golden Driller winner 2 years ago, I think Wyatt Miller is a very good, talented driver. So, I mean, it's been fun to watch him. It's also been fun to watch this guy. We're going to bring him in here in just a second. There he is. Maybe, if he can.
Blake, we alive?
Busy guy.
Uh-oh. We're scrambling live. We'll take Blake down for just a second. It looks like he's having some technical difficulties as well. Couldn't tell if that was an Iowa Hawkeye shirt or not. Hopefully it wasn't one of those.
Sure it was.
I think we're losing right now at halftime.
The joys of live.
He's getting all his stuff figured out. But yeah, really cool to see Brexton and Wyatt Miller and all those other guys duel it out, and a couple young kids, man. Young kids in big race cars, like 13 years old. It's like, dang.
There's a lot of you can definitely tell some of those kids have been around adults a lot. Just the way they talk, and then also the way they race and stuff too, which is cool. And we were talking about it earlier, they are the future of the sport, and kind of getting a glimpse of that is pretty sweet.
There was a kid that said
we can give it another chance.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
The mic wasn't working for a minute, and I struggled with it today on a conference call with our ticketing guy. So
well,
now we're good.
Blake Anderson is here. We were just about. I apologize, Blake. The other Blake is. I think we got down to our very last bullet point, and he was going to throw you under the bus.
No, I appreciate it. We had a social media meeting that started at 4 that we just finished, and we cut it short. We're just trying to plan for the season and make sure we got all our ducks in a row here at Skagit Speedway. We're trying something new tomorrow with our schedule. We're going to do a YouTube live at noon Pacific time and kind of debut our schedule that way, kind of March Madness style.
That'd be awesome.
So
Heard it here first.
I've been trying to get that dialed in the last couple of days since I got back to the Skagit area.
Do you have a time?
Yeah, noon our time, so it'd be 2:00 Central.
All right. So look out,
On
Skagit
our
Speedway
YouTube channel.
And you and Caleb Hart, right? You guys started up a podcast not
Caleb's
too long
going to
ago.
Zoom in. Yeah, Caleb stayed down in Tulsa, so we're going to have him on it via Zoom. So we're kind of getting that dialed in the last couple of days too. So should be neat, something different. Trying to think outside of the box up here.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
We are just about to get to the results from the Tulsa Shootout.
Let's dive in.
The other Blake was a little irritated on your behalf because you did have a little bit. We were just talking about interviews and how you guys interviewed everybody. Yeah.
Let me just put this out here, Blake, as someone that is also in media, just like you are. My secondhand embarrassment when you interviewed the wrong person, like I think I almost died. Like I'm sitting on my couch, and like the guy's not helping you. The guy who you're interviewing sure isn't helping you, but like. I want you to know that the secondhand embarrassment I felt for you was just beyond
it was
anything. Can you explain the situation? Like, how did you end up with him?
So they roll up the ramp, and we're in the pit area. All we can see is we can hear, and then we can see the big screen. But you're standing there on the ramp in the ramp area, and there's 10,000. There's a bunch of people, and sometimes people forget we're working. So they'll come up and want to have a conversation, full-on conversation with you, and you're trying to watch. And especially at Tulsa Shootout, I admittedly, like when there's 1,100 cars there, it's hard to keep up with who's who. And especially like at the Chili Bowl, I can kind of go into a blind because if you're going to win a heat race at Chili Bowl, 95% chance I know who you are. Yeah. Pretty darn good. Shootout, probably not. Just because the micros, you don't see them. And so I'm standing watching the races, and a guy comes up and just starts jawing my ear off, which is fine. I enjoy talking with the race fans, but I'm also like, hey, Val, I interview this winner here. I'm trying to figure. I don't know these guys. I know a couple of the players in this one. Unfortunately, neither of them won. Sorry, Jace Randolph, but I just admittedly didn't know who Jace Randolph was. They roll up the ramp, and usually the heat race winner is going crazy. So you can pretty much identify who won because his family's jumping around. Well, Jace Randolph came up, and the Logan kid that ended up winning, that I ended up interviewing, that went 7-4, is pounding on his hood. The family's kind of going crazy, and he rolled up to where most of the winners go. So I'm like, well, I didn't exactly see it. This has got to be my guy. Well, it wasn't.
It wasn't my guy.
And you're right. He didn't really help me that much. But it's not his job to help me. I mean, part of it's on me. I mean, all of it's on me, admittedly. But it just was kind of a perfect storm of everything came together. And, I wanted to hide in a hole. That was the most.
That was last year. That's
what I kept telling him. Like, 2025, guys. We're mature here. Let's turn the page. No, and admittedly, like Caleb asked me after the race, he's like, did I go too hard on you? I was like, hell no. If I'm going to give it out to all of us, like it's give and take here. I can take it. You can give me shit. I don't care.
Honestly, and we were gassing up you and the entire crew earlier. It's impressive that doesn't happen more often, honestly.
I can't believe it. I mean,
you have so many races.
Chris about got it. Chris Moore about had one, and Earl was getting ready to, and luckily I grabbed him, was like, oh, Earl, no, over here, don't pull me, don't pull Blake and interview the wrong guy. But it is like, it's chaotic at the top of the ramp. You've got cars coming at you at all places, cars going to the tech area. You don't really know who's in what car because you're hoping you can kind of catch it on the big screen. And none of us really follow micros super close. And it's hard to because there's 10,000 micros. But, I'm surprised it doesn't. Unfortunately, it did, and I was the guy. But if that's the worst thing that happens to me all year, you know what? That's not a bad year.
That's right. Give us a little peek behind the curtain, because I do like the way you guys seem to do it. So you kind of have shifts where you move around and stuff, right? Give us a little peek behind how that day works, and then if anything changes come Saturday, or if it's pretty much the same every day of the week.
So at Shootout, we have 3 shifts. We start racing at 9 o'clock, so we have a 9 to 2 shift, a 2 to 7 shift, and then a 7 to end shift. And we each get 2 shifts off through the week. Like I had one morning off, and then I had a night off, another one. So we each get a couple shifts off, and we try to rotate. Caleb is not great on the ramp, and he hates the ramp. So Caleb, and he's the veteran here, and he's the old man. We'll tell him that. So he gets to stay in the booth, but the rest of us, we kind of rotate around. So you'll get a shift inside the box, or inside the booth, calling the races, and some shifts at the top of the ramp. But Chris Moore, Earl, and myself are pretty much the 3 mainstays at the top of the ramp. Brian Ward loves being in the infield and doing that. He's really good at it.
Yeah.
And then Chris Wilner Chris is definitely, I think Chris is a professional. I mean, he does it for a living. And he kind of goes between the booth, more in the top of the ramp, but more heavy in the booth, where Earl and I are more heavy at the top of the ramp. I kind of enjoy being on the ramp because I spent 10 years in the booth, and I get to kind of mix it up, especially at Chili Bowl. I don't get to see these people, but now that I'm at Skagit all the time, but maybe twice a year, Chili Bowl and Knoxville Nationals. It's hard to catch everyone because, as you guys know, there's just so much going on. You think, oh, I'll see them Thursday, and you blink and it's done. So that kind of works. At Chili Bowl, we get a night off, and that night off, we're the production assistant, running lineups, drinks, and kind of doing the behind the scenes stuff. So Monday, the first night, is my night off. So I won't be on the broadcast on Monday. I'll be running lineups and just doing kind of the ancillary stuff behind the scenes. And Michael Rigsby, the general manager of Flow Racing, will be there on Monday. So Michael, I mean, he's been one of the key people in my career. He's done so much for me, and I call him dad because he's like my work dad. And I'll show him around a lot. It's his first time being at the Chili Bowl with actual racing. So he sent me a text the other day and asked if I could walk him around. It's like, yeah, perfect. I'm off on Monday. So that's kind of my Monday. Will be running lineups and running drinks and making sure those guys are good, and kind of showing Michael Rigsby around, because he's only there Monday and Tuesday before he heads down to Wild West Shootout, which is another big broadcast for Flow Racing.
It's impressive. You guys do a great job, and the chemistry y'all have everybody. It's so good. You can tell that you guys all get along, and it's a great broadcast to watch and listen to for sure.
We have fun, and no one's safe. I can promise you. Chili Bowl, we run a little bit more buttoned up broadcast, rightfully so. Shootout, I think Caleb, we were brought through the 5 days. We broadcast 64.5 hours. Mm-hmm. When you're doing that in 5 days, it's hard to not just kind of have to have that where we push Tyler McCam, our director, producer, we pushed that line, the gray area of, okay, he has to get in our ears, especially Earl, Chris, and I, because Chris Moore, and we get along so well and just love taking shots at each other. So when we do our pit walks, McKim's in our ear, okay, let's bring it back on track. Like, we got off track this year with the Hooters girls.
Yeah.
And Earl reading the back of their shirts. Yeah. McKim was like, okay, let's reel it in. Yeah, Earl reading the back of his shirts, and then quickly answers there in pink or in orange shorts when I asked him what color their shorts were.
Man.
Jesus.
We let's bring this on. But we like to have fun. We hope that everyone at home is laughing with us. We try not to be too inside jokes and more just jokes that if you're watching, you get the joke, because inside jokes are only funny to us, but the 100,000 people watching don't understand. But if it's something that we did on the broadcast, like me interviewing the wrong guy, that's going to get thrown out a lot, which is fine.
Yeah.
I can take
it. I mean, it helps break up when you're running 400 some races in a week, and however many in a day. I mean, a little humor in there doesn't hurt.
That's all right.
Yeah. Well, let's run through what happened for the features. At least we kind of went over all the preliminary stuff that kind of happened, and then we'll talk about Chili Bowl. We'll start out with Winged Outlaw. One of your correct predictions, Blake, you picked Dason Pursley twice, but for this one, you did pick Dason. Came away with the win, his first Golden Driller. Steven Snyder Jr. was second, and Jeffrey Newell was third. Pursley led all 30 laps and captured his first ever Golden Driller. 15 years trying. I mean, this was kind of leading into next week a little bit, Blake, but it sure feels like, he's one of my favorites for next week. Mm-hmm. This is just kind of like, he's here. He can really show up.
He's lights out. He's been lights out this year, especially when he went non-wing and midget racing. I got one right. I'll say maybe 1.5 because Colin Hutchinson was my pick in the first race, but I got on the radio and said, I am not taking the pole sitter in the first race. And then it's always kind of that unwritten rule. You can't take the front row. And then the first 2 races, someone took the pole sitter. So I was like, all right, Dason Pursley is the fastest car in the building. I'll be that guy race 3. I'm not going to be that guy race 1. Caleb Hart will be that guy, and I'll give him a hard time for it. But yeah, Dason, man, he's fast. And I feel like you're exactly right, Blake. I'd put him as one of the favorites at the Chili Bowl. He got in a midget and a non-wing sprint car this year, and it was like game on.
And he's just been unbelievable. Like looking back to the way he ended 2025 and like what he's doing now and the confidence that he shows, it could be the year of Dason Pursley. Like with the crew that he's getting around him, not, looking past Chili Bowl, like for high limit this year, it's going to be crazy. And yeah, I was watching back last year's Chili Bowl, and he was right there with Kyle. And if the banner doesn't get ripped down and they throw the yellow, I think that's Pursley winning that race. So
couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Steven Snyder Jr. charged forward, came deep in the field, obviously finished second, and then Jeffrey Newell. And we talked about Kyle Larson, but Kyle Larson, he was top group early, kind of mid-race, just kind of faded. Do you think him missing practice was big for him, or do you think it just really didn't work out this year and nothing? I mean, he was fast, but it just didn't feel like everything was there like it usually is.
He's a cheat code. I mean, honestly, I don't think it takes – I would say the average guy missing practice, yeah, but I also think, he wasn't running every division this year like he was last year. I think the micros, you talk to those guys, it's a little bit different style of racing that you have to adapt to. I think Kade could probably allude to that, obviously, way more than any of us. But I think that had a little to do with it, but I don't know. At the end of the day, he is Kyle Larson. But this year, that they're just up front, the passing wasn't there this year. And I don't know, the track felt a little flatter than years past, and there was definitely a dip. When I went down the last race and watched in turn 1 and 2, there's definitely the high side kind of dropped off a little bit, and you could really see the cars moving around. And I just think the high side just wasn't quite there. And obviously the high side isn't there. Kyle, that's where he eats, because he can run anywhere, but Kyle on the top side, there's not a better race car driver in the world that can run the high side, dirt or pavement, than Kyle Larson.
He damn sure was trying to make it work. It was kind of his undoing. And I mean, Kade, how do you even combat that? Like Blake's saying, if it's fallen off and you don't really get that ramp, and maybe we'll see it. That was something that really stuck out to me watching last year's Chili Bowl back. There was a huge ramp up to the wall. Like, how do you even combat that?
Well, you got to think about this too. The ramp that he was using last year was in the final race of the night, which they ended up having again. That was just an earlier feature that the ramp wasn't built up yet. But like Blake said, definitely him not running all 4 classes played a huge part in that. I mean, he showed up with no practice and basically just had to figure it out and go fast, which
he's washed. Yep, he's washed.
His practice was his heat race that counted for basically. I mean, I feel like the Tulsa Shootout is one of the hardest races in the country to make, harder than Chili Bowl, harder than the Super Nationals. Like your heat race, you have to go, and there's 400 cars. Like, you got to go, and he got in there and made it go, but I just not quite as well as we all expect Kyle Larson to, and that bar is insanely high that I don't even think is even really fair that we have that bar that high for him, but it is, because he continues. Anytime we seem like we lower it a little bit, he jumps it with ease.
Yeah.
Right, and he was really good in that race. It was just like as soon as the top got to where it was starting to kind of lip up, his car just went way south on him.
Oh man, he was chasing it.
Non-wing outlaw feature, 55 laps. Jonathan Beeson leads every single lap and gets the win. I didn't have a guy leading all 55 laps, but once he kind of, like you said, Blake, once the track kind of did what it did, I will give Caleb and Chris a lot of credit. They're really hyping up the wall. Like, they were like, hey man, this is getting up. It's getting up. But you saw it was guys back in 7th and 8th trying to get it. Leads to Chris Andrews, who finished 3rd. Everybody just kept pulling out of his way, and he stayed right on the bottom and also got up there.
I admit, I was standing down in 1 and 2. Chris Moore and I went down to 1 and 2 to cover 1 and 2, and left Brian and Earl in 3 and 4. And Chris and I were just in awe watching Jet run the high side. Jet Yantis was running that ramp line, but the high side just, it got that dip in it, and you watch cars. You couldn't maybe see it as well on the broadcast, but if you go back and you watch the high side, you can see the bottom of the car just goes like that around the corner. When they'd run the high side, they kind of bounce through there, not super pronounced, but enough. And I think in a micro, it's just enough to upset it. And then Jet went to the high side. Jet Yanis he ran that ramp line, but we watched it, and he was hustling the heck out of that car and going absolutely nowhere. Wasn't losing anything, but wasn't gaining an inch on anyone above him. But it was hair-raising to watch.
And I had noticed too, it looked like it was kind of bumpy on the front stretch too. Like you would see guys come out of the corner on, like I remember Thorson, I think on a start, like got all jacked up. And I just felt that was a little odd too. Don't really remember seeing kind of bumps on the straightaway.
I got to think that they're taking the grader to it and really changing things, the first comment, like I said, was drivers talking about how much flatter it was than normal. And as soon as the driver pointed that out to me, I was like, you know what? It is really flat this year, which I mean, it's kind of the beauty of it, right? That it's the same track, but it's going to have little intricacies that are different from year to year because they have to rebuild it. And you're obviously not going to be able to rebuild it the same every year. But I got to think that they're hard at work this week to kind of carving things out and getting it back maybe a little bit to what we've seen the past couple of years. I hope so.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like 2 or 3 years ago they ended up having to go off the iRacing measurements to rebuild it because it was so far off?
2 years ago, it was so far off. After like night 2, they brought iRacing in and lasered the track. Wow. I mean, it was middle of Chili Bowl week that they redid the racetrack. So if they do that again, I don't know. I mean, I would think that that'd probably be something you do every year now that that's available to you, but I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of work to build that racetrack, and I think it's probably
pretty
a lot
incredible
of work to laser it.
That's even an option. Like that's cool that you can even do that. But man, yeah, we were talking earlier about everybody, like everything and everybody that goes into that whole event. And next week, it's insane.
I mean, I'm lucky enough to see what goes on to just running Skagit in our racetrack, let alone having to build a track, the staff that goes into that, the time that goes into that, and everything else there, but whether it's there or at the Dome. I work both of them, and it's a feat, that's for sure.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the big story of the night was a guy that didn't even cross the start-finish line first. Frank Flood officially is your winner in A-Class. Dason Pursley, Garrett Benson. Jet Yantis led wire-to-wire. Worth noting, every driver led wire-to-wire, technically. Yantis crossed the line first, but was disqualified in post-race technical inspection. Were you still in the building when they announced that, Blake?
Yeah, we were down at the production trailer, and ironically, Steve Hahn came by, and Steve does a lot of the racetrack, and he kind of clued us in. There's a guy disqualified, and then 5 minutes later, we heard the announcement, and that's a tough one. I mean, I don't know. There's all sorts of theories out there. Did he know? Because Jet kind of alluded to that car having something special.
He said something. He's like, there's something in this car.
Yeah, and he alluded to it, and then I feel like he caught himself.
Yeah. And
he tried, not that even if he would have grenaded it, it wouldn't matter. They still would have been able to catch all the stuff that was in it. But, man, he had that thing wide open doing donuts twice. I mean, that motor was absolutely screaming loud when he did his donuts on the back stretch and the front stretch. I don't know how he didn't grenade it, but tough break for Jet. And unfortunately, you're 15 years old, and you're doing what your family had you do. And I just hate that you're 15 and that's going to stick with them a long time.
Yeah.
Certain race fans just won't be able to let that go. And I hate that for a kid because he's super talented. I think that we're going to see Jet Yanis do special things in a sprint car in the future.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think a lot got to give some grace. He is 15 years old or whatever, and youngster that probably isn't making any calls on what is going on with that race car. And he's out there driving it and showed what he can do driving it. And yeah, like you said, just can't let it taint what is, looks to be a very promising career that's coming on. Got caught, pay the piper and move on.
Yeah.
I will say it's cool to see Frank Flood win another Golden Driller. I'm sure he didn't want to do it like that, but 6th career Golden Driller. I did see the picture of him and his family in victory lane afterwards. It's just a very muted, not even his driver's seat.
I'm happy it wasn't his first driller, and somebody didn't get their first driller that way. Like,
That would
if
suck.
it's going to be anyone, it's Frank that it's a 6, so it's not this really, really special moment of getting your first driller, and that's how you get it. So that's maybe the silver lining in it, is that it'd have been cool, cool to have a first-time winner, but at least someone's first driller didn't come that way, where they don't get to celebrate with the fans there and on a live broadcast.
Yeah. On stock non-wing, Colin Hutchinson picked up the win. 477 cars in stock non-wing field. If you're going to win one, that's definitely the one. Briggs Danner got close a couple times, but just couldn't get it done. I felt like there was really clean racing here at the end of this thing. I mean, it felt like a couple guys can take a shot, but like Brock didn't try anything crazy. Briggs didn't try. I mean, it felt like, Blake, at least in the features, we did have moments last week where you're like, oh my gosh, that's terrible racecraft. But it felt like features wise, we sure had a couple attempts where something could have happened, but everybody pretty much kept it clean and raced each other with respect.
I was surprised we didn't there, because we had the restart with 2 to go. And I think that speaks volumes to how talented Colin Hutchinson is. Like I said in the broadcast, I've known Colin since he's barely walking. His family owns Classic Inc. USA. Classic Inc. USA was a partner with us at the All-Stars from our first season with the series. A great partner. And the head Classic Inc. sales guy was our PR guy, Tyler Altmaier. So I've known the Hutchinsons for a long time now, and Colin since he was 3 years old. He's impressive, and I think he showed the world what he could do there. But you're right. I'm surprised with that restart with 2 to go with a golden driller on the line. I really figured it's gloves off at that point, especially knowing that, hey, this kid that's trying to hang on is 13. Let's get in his head. And Colin, he was not rattled at all.
And I mean, Briggs did throw everything at him pretty much, and he just kept on trucking, drove a damn good race. I know our group chat was lighting up about it. It was perfect 30 laps basically, and hats off to that kid.
It'll be a matter. I mean, we'll see him in a sprint car. He turns 14 in March, first week of March. I bet I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in a sprint car this year. His uncle is Brian Ellenberger, that raced with the World of Outlaws, and his dad Todd was one of Brian's crew guys, so they're a heavy sprint car family. I would not be surprised to see him in a sprint car soon in a 410 when he turns 16 at Lernerville.
The name Colin Hutchison. Keep that in the back of your mind.
He is talented.
We didn't touch on this earlier before Blake jumped on, and it kind of came up there. I was a little surprised. We really only saw, and I think it was on Saturday, one instance where like someone just straight up straight lined someone.
Yeah,
just drove right through him. I was a little surprised. I was a little surprised we didn't get any more than that. I'm very happy and glad. Like, I think it goes to show that you can race like this, and like that's kind of how it should be done. Were you guys? What did you think about that?
100%. I was at the top of the ramp all day, and Earl, Chris, and I were like, okay, we got to have our head on a swivel, because you're just waiting for chaos to happen. It always happens there, and that's the only one we had, and it was a lot of yelling, whatever. Yeah, but nothing really came of it. I mean, we didn't really have a fight all week, which is great. I love that, because the fights get the attention. Sure, they draw it, but it's not what we see every day at the racetrack. And the casual fans, you don't want them to think that this is what they're going to see when they come to Knoxville Raceway or Skagit Speedway 100%. On Saturday night. We really only seem to see it there, which is ironic, because Chili Bowl, you think that just the intensity wraps up, but for some reason it ramps up in a different way, and it doesn't lead to really guys fight. Now I say this, and we'll have a big fight at the top of the ramp this week, but
I was going to say, wait till this week.
Yeah, exactly.
You better be there. Put the mic in there.
Someone sent me a text. You guys instigate fights? Like, no, we don't. We just walk up and hold the mic there, and we just watch. Like, we're not there pushing people into a fight. I'm not, Kevin Harvick pushing the guy into the fight. Let's get things going.
Jace Park flipping a guy's hat, instigating.
Yeah. We saw Brian Walker. He was in the background. He was all excited. That picture is amazing. It was so funny.
Grinning. And the other one screaming. I look over, and there's B-Walks just standing in the corner grinning. Our camera guy was right next to him, though. But, yeah, we don't instigate it. We don't encourage it. We just film it.
Restricted A class, Braxton Vasconcelos gets the win. Bryson Roush second, and Chase DeMarco is third. Another one, wire to wire for Vasconcelos. First career Tulsa Shootout win. All those guys. I mean, just the the victory lane was really cool. I mean, a lot of these guys are really well composed, and I mean, a younger kid again. I want to ask you that, Blake. You know, you interview all these people, ages almost 60 down to the younger. Some of these kids are really good speakers. I mean, you can tell some of these kids are really getting it. Some kids still have work to do, but you know, you guys would ask like the easy questions, you know, food, anything like that. But some kids really, are you noticing that? Do you feel like as time has gone on, kids are getting better? They're starting to understand, I got to be good at this because I can't just be a shy box.
I think a lot of the differences is these kids have now started to grow up in the streaming world where, you know, their local track is streaming every week. So they're used to seeing the cameras. But Braxton Vasconcelos, he was a guy that every time he was at the top of the ramp, he got a couple heat race wins, a qualifier win. Every time he won, his family was going crazy at the top of the ramp. So that was one we knew that, you know, his mom and dad would be there going nuts.
And it's cool seeing younger kids like understand the gravity of what they've done too, and like kind of knowing the history and all that stuff, and seeing how much it means to them. Like that's all. That'll never get old. It's cool seeing them enjoy that moment. And we were mentioning it before you got on here too, like with their buddies and stuff. You know, also coming up and celebrating with them. That's really cool to me.
And that's something. Deming Speedway is a track that's about 25 minutes from us here at Skagit Speedway that I always say when I go there on Friday nights and watch, it's refreshing how excited when those junior sprint kids win, how excited they are for their buddy that they win, even though they didn't have a great race.
Exactly.
And that's been big for us at Skagit, is watching guys progress up into a restricted car and then an A-class car there. And then they jump up to Skagit and run a sportsman sprint, which is a 305 race saver equivalent. We've got 4 or 5 kids jumping up from the micros at Deming to a race saver, running a race saver here at Skagit next year.
And it's the respect thing, like, you know, they're buddies and they're friends. And so then you get the, what do we got? Lights flying around.
Clowns up here.
Somebody's getting harassed right now. I think it goes back to, you know, what we were just talking about, nobody getting, you know, run over and whatnot. Like these kids do respect each other and
They
stuff
do.
too. And it's good to see. It's good to see a sport heading in that direction.
One of the coolest things, I said it during the broadcast a couple of times, up at Deming on Friday nights, I go up there and watch the micros. And one of the neatest things I see them do that really promotes clean racing is if the junior sprints go green to checkered in their A main, they get free ice cream. They get a coupon to go down and get free ice cream. And it sounds, you kind of laugh at it, but then you see those kids when they get green to checkered, they're okay, Paul, where's my free ice cream? Where's my coupon? And that promotes them to race clean. And
let's talk to Lynn Donahue, Jersey Freeze. Maybe we'll do that for.
I got an idea for week this summer, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
I say up here for some of our classes that crash a lot, I talk to our GM and say, John, we need to give free ice cream to these guys if they can go green and checkered this week.
Kade, would you race a lot cleaner if you got free ice cream?
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, I am 27 years old, but I would be like those little kids if I raced for free ice cream.
Yeah, Kade, just think if John came over and said, hey, 360s, 410s, if you guys go green to checkered, we've got free Jersey Freeze for you this week.
I'd be pumped, and I'd be chewing some people's ass if they messed it up.
You're damn right.
Oh, love it.
Well, speaking of junior sprints, Jax Whitmer got the victory. Grayson Graham was second. Stetson Stroop was third. Whitmer leads flag to flag. 3 names that you just kind of feel like, Blake, give it a couple years, maybe not even a couple years, and guess what? They're going to be right here with us.
Yeah, and Jackson, he's a guy that he races all over the place. He's from Fleetwood, Pennsylvania. That's where we had to give Caleb his geography lesson because he kept saying Pennsylvania Posse, like Caleb.
I was going to say that line. You draw that line.
Western Pennsylvania, Caleb, is not Posse country, and Fleetwood, Pennsylvania is about 2.5, 3 hours west, or probably 2 to 3 hours west of Harrisburg. That's not Posse country. That's probably getting closer to the line. That's Bedford area. If you remember the All-Stars, we'd race at Bedford. Yes, we had to give Caleb his geography lesson, but nonetheless, that kid was impressive. And the junior sprints, they're really starting to boom in Pennsylvania as they're getting a couple more micro tracks. Baps Motor Speedway just added a micro track, and they're running juniors. I know up here at Deming, the junior sprint class is a B main every week, which is super encouraging. I mean, those guys, as you mentioned, Blake, those are the future. And we're seeing those guys move up. I mean, look at like a guy like Braxton Flatt, who is really starting to take the world by storm, or Brexton Bush. Those two, they were running junior sprints a year ago.
Yeah.
And now they're locking into adult class A mains, not just restricted, but adult class A mains.
We just need to keep them in dirt. Keep them on dirt. Don't Don't run away to the pavement stuff. Stay on dirt.
I think Braxton Flat, we've probably got a shot at keeping on dirt.
Yeah.
Brexton Bush, I would say we've probably got another year or two of him on dirt, and he'll be
him and Wyatt Miller. Yeah.
In the pavement late model. And Wyatt Miller, I would say he's
already in it. He's in stadium trucks.
Yeah, he's already in it. And I would say he'll be running a pavement late model at Hickory in the next year or two.
Yeah. Crazy.
Damn it.
I know.
Crazy. Well, what a week. It was a fun week watching Tulsa Shootout. It's time to move on to our Chili Bowl, talking about previewing what we got going on. These are just notes for those watching at home of times. So Sunday, practice happens at 9 a.m. Central Time. Monday through Friday, hot laps will be at 4 o'clock Central Time, racing at 5. And then on Saturday, hot laps scheduled for 9 a.m. Central Time. Opening ceremonies tentatively planned at 6:30. 385 entries as of January 4th. It is January 6th, so we're still just keeping up. We'll talk about the nights of notables, but that is changing rapidly. Like every 30 minutes, people are requesting new times. And for Flow, Blake, maybe you can speak on a little bit. Pre-race show, post-race show, you guys are going all out.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, I know that on Sunday, Caleb, Earl, and Chris Moore will be live at noon Central for a handful of hours live showing practice. So Flo will be live then. And then Chili's hopping on board with Flow Racing and really driving into dirt track racing. They're going to have a pre-race show. I think it's going to be Chase Rodman. I know it's going to be Chase Rodman, Tony Laporta, and Brian Walker. Mm-hmm. And then they'll have a post-race show as well. And Tyler Courtney will join those three for the post-race show. That's awesome. And that'll do. And we had a little bit of a preview show, not really last year, where us on the broadcast would talk for 15 minutes. That's going to replace that. So it'll be a much more in-depth show brought to you by Chili's and really lead into our broadcast. And we'll take over the last couple of minutes as we start to race. But that's going to be neat. And I think, as you mentioned, that, Blake, that's just another piece for Flow Racing to add to take that broadcast to the next level.
Yeah. It's access that people will continue to want. And now that they have it, then you're like, the next big event. All right, let's see what we got. And you talked about it. I mean, I'm going to be also watching Wild West. I mean, there are going to be there's so much to watch. That's 2 big events going on for Flow.
Well, look at Ricky Thornton Jr. He's going to be running Wild West Shootout on Saturday and Saturday, the first 2 nights, I think. I think it starts on Friday, Saturday. Then he's flying to Tulsa Sunday. You're going to race and then head back, and he's going to be all over. Those are that's 2 monster broadcasts.
RTJ? Didn't you talk to RTJ? Huh? I mean, just
dude's a sicko. He's a racing sicko.
He's one of us now, guys. He's an Iowan.
Yep, yeah. Which is great.
I gave him. I talked to him. I said after the Parade of States, and we can say he's an Iowan because Parade of States. What state did he walk with?
The Cyclone State. That's what he walked with.
Bullshit. Yeah, there it is.
We're losing right now, Blake. I keep looking back. We're losing right now. I hope
I'm way outnumbered, so I got to watch myself here.
Yeah, you do.
I'll let you have your 1 year here, Josh. They're all happy they swept us, and it's like, Iowa's done that 4 times the last decade. Iowa State first time in the history of the. You got a little
anyway. We're starting to get a football team now too, Blake. So it's nice. We have more than 15 people, which is
you got enough players to field a full team on both sides of the ball now.
We're getting there.
Back to the Chili Bowl. Just talking about recent years. Kyle Larson, our defending champion. Logan Seavey then won in 2024 and 2023, and then Tanner Thorson won in 2022. Let's talk about Monday. I'm going to go through some of the names, and once I go through the names, we can talk about what kind of stands out. Yeah, here's a chart. Good luck.
And thanks to Wikipedia. I know it might be pretty tough. I know Blake's. He's the oldest one here. Thankfully, I'm not the old guy anymore, Blake. Thank you.
I got 1 year on Josh.
So notables on Monday. Again, this is as of when was this graphic made?
This was today. Okay, Brian put this out today. Follow Wikipedia on social media. Thank you, Brian.
For changes I saw.
Yeah. Yes. So tentatively for notables on Monday, we got Kyle Larson, Nick Hoffman, Cameron Key, Shane Golowick, Joby Miller, Kanda McIntosh, Tanner Carrick, Jerry Coons Jr., Gavin Bishelli, and Briggs Danner. Monday's A-Main podium last year was Kyle Larson, Shane Golowick, and Kanda McIntosh. And don't forget, we have our race of champions as well. Christopher Bell, Dason Pursley, and Tanner Thorson Seabell won last year's. Obviously, Kyle Larson will stick out just because he's Kyle Larson. For myself, I think definitely going to take a hard look at Joby Miller. I think Joby Miller will be really interesting. He was fun to watch this past week. I mean, I just like watching Joby Miller wheel.
He's a racer.
Yeah. Josh, what do you think?
One I'm going to watch.
Oh, yeah. Blake, what do you got?
Cannon McIntosh had an incredible year. USAC championship dominated. He dominated everywhere he went. He's starting to dip his toes. We saw him run an arc race at the end of the season for Raw. Cannon has been lights out at Chili Bowl on his prelim night the last 6 years. I think Cannon can swing with Larson. I think that they can race together. And I think don't be surprised if Cannon wins.
As long as he can keep us cool, I was definitely going to say Cannon's going to be a threat.
Honestly, watch out for Shane. You know, Shane was right there in the mix last year on Saturday night. You know, with the stuff that was going on with Larson and got some weird floaties, and Dason and Larson last year. Shane knows how to get around that place, so he'd be one to watch for me too.
He's so underrated.
Yeah, one of the nicest guys out there too. Super good.
Yeah, we're lucky to have him on the West Coast.
I was going to say, it must be nice. Tuesday notables: JJ Ailey, Jonathan Beeson, Clinton Boyles, Kaylee Bryson, RTJ, Hank Davis, Zach Dahm, Michael Pickens, Buddy Kofoid, Ty Gibbs, and Sheldon Creed. Again, just a big mix of drivers from all over, all different types of racing sides. I mean, Clinton Boyles, I think, will be an easy one to talk about. Obviously, it was pretty successful this week. Always good when he gets into midget. I think he'll be really fun to watch. And, you know, we talked about RTJ. You know, I think RTJ could be really fun as well.
RTJ, no matter what he gets in is fun. You know, a kid that's kind of is starting to impress me in his dirt stuff is Ty Gibbs. I got to tip my cap to him. Like, he's out so far out of what he's ever known to get in this dirt stuff and do what he's done. You know, when he gets in the 410, he goes and runs with Highland. He runs with the best in the world. When he gets in his midget, it's at Chili Bowl. In a micro, he'll race at Millbridge, and then out here, like, he is really coming along on the dirt stuff. I'm not going to say he's going to win, but I think that you could see Ty Gibbs run really competitive. Hank Davis is a guy that we saw up here at Skagit quite a bit this year, and Hank's a super talented race car driver, and that Seymour car has ripped at the Chili Bowl the last 3 years. I think Hank Davis could pop off a win.
I feel like the low-hanging fruit is Buddy Kofoid, but I was going to say I'd love to see a Hank Davis win. That'd be badass.
That would be cool. I was going to mention Ty as well. I think it'll be cool to see what Sheldon Creed can do. And Clinton, circling back to him, we talked about it a little bit before you got on here. I think he's definitely one to watch. It's also Beeson's season. He did pick up a driller last week, so don't sleep on him. What's it like working with Clinton, and what's it like watching him go from driver mode to commentator mode back to driver throughout the night?
One fun fact for you here before I talk about that. You mentioned Beeson's season. His wife's parents are from Marshalltown, so he has a connection to us.
Of course he does.
There you go.
So we can claim him.
So good.
Hey, darn.
Clinton, he is incredible. The way he can hop out of the race car and turn on professional Clinton, and then, you know, NOS Energy Drink sponsored Clinton, and drink your NOS Energy Drink, and then come join us and just join the chaos that we have on that broadcast at Shootout. But the way he adds so much to our broadcast because he can break down what those drivers are feeling, because he literally just felt it 10 minutes ago in the race car. And he can break it down in a really good way that I feel like the common race fan can understand, and the driver and Kade can understand what he's saying. So he's a big asset to our broadcast. And I think that whenever he stops racing, or wrenching, I should say, now that he's got a new job, wrenching, I think he could be a big broadcast to anything, you know, a big asset to any broadcast.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Good dude. Really good guy.
For Wednesday, I think Wednesday's the most stacked day as of right now, in my opinion. Jason McDougall, T-Mez, KTJ, Mitchell Moles, Jake Swanson, Emerson Axum, Corey Day, Ryan Timms, Robert Bell, Dason Persley, Sammy Swindell in here as well. I'm only going to pick one. I'll go Emerson Axum. I'm a big Emerson Axum guy. I felt like probably wasn't as fast as he wanted to be this past week at Tulsa, but I really like Emerson Axum. Won last year's A-Main on Wednesday night.
Dason, I think, is we talked about it there. I think Dason is he's been so impressive every time he gets into a non-wing car, whether it's a midget or a sprint car. He's super talented. He's in Chad boat stuff. Chad got around the Expo Center really good when he was a race car driver, and his cars do the same. Corey Day is going to be one to keep an eye on. That story's so cool with Willie Kane, how the engine is older than Corey. That Mopar is 23 years old now, I think, and ripped. So, and Corey would have been a contender last year, but he came into Saturday just sicker than all get out.
Yeah.
So I feel like it felt terrible for him because he was so fast, and then gets to Saturday and he was just, I mean, gut sick. I mean, dang near in an IV, and if he would have been normal race, if it would have been a normal race, he wouldn't have been there. But Chili Bowl, you're there, right? So that'll be fun to watch.
I think the most fun to watch will be T-Mez. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that dude is going to be fully on the gas and does not give a shit.
I think we're going to see a repeat of the Wednesday podium from last year, but it will be Corey Day that is going to win.
Yeah.
Can't sleep on Mitchell Moles either. He's fast in that building.
Anybody say Ryan Timms?
I felt like it was low hanging fruit. I mean, you got his wing board back there.
I left it for you, Josh.
Yeah.
You know, he was another one that was maybe probably a little disappointed in what, you know, his shootout looked like. So
I think that's fair to say. I don't think there's much thinking there. I think I can say Ryan Timms probably was disappointed.
Yeah.
He expects to win.
Yeah. And he's in one of like 37 Keith Coons cars, right? So that
I think he's down to 10 this year. He's really cut back. He's down to 10.
Only 10? Holy
Only
shit.
10. Last year was 15.
Single digits here soon. Hopefully he's okay.
Thursday, Spencer Baston, Carter Sarf, Brady Bacon, Kyle Cummins, Josh Balicki, Jacob Denny, Ashton Torgerson, Frank Flood, Ryan Bernal, Tanner Thorson, Chris Wyndham, CJ Leary, and Christopher Bell. I'm a big Alex Bowman fan, so I'm going to go with CJ Leary in the 55. Maybe the luck will turn around for ABR after wrecking half his fleet, most of his fleet last year. But he's only got 2 cars this year, so I'll go CJ Leary.
CJ Leary. Okay. If CJ's been good there, let's see.
He has been good.
Tanner, I think that Tanner, I don't know how you pick against him right now in that building. He's so fast, and then he looks really good at the shootout. Not that anything really correlates there, but he had in his 9th ever micro start, he's in the mix for a win at the shootout. Tanner just continues to adapt. I think Tanner's going to have a big year with high limit racing. I'm going to call it multiple wins for Tanner this year on the road.
Right there with you for sure. I'm with you.
I was definitely thinking Tanner too, but how can you overlook Seabell too? I mean, that's going to be that's going to be
his
a
own
fun
stuff
one to
this
watch
year
between those two. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
You guys keep taking my picks, so I guess I'll just have to settle with a guy that had a hell of a USAC year and go with Kyle Cummins. I think that he has started and he's been in the A main before, so I could see him having a good run.
Yeah,
and Swindell stuff too.
That's true. They got 4 cars.
Yeah,
who do they have? Jet Barnes, Cummins, Axum, and Seavey, right?
And Seavey. Yep.
Yeah. And then on Friday, Michael Facinto, Ronnie Gardner, Andrew Felker, Santino Ferrucci, Darren Pittman, Casey Schumann, Logan Seavey, Steven Snyder Jr., Giovanni Selzy, Justin Grant, and Gavin Miller. I'll just get it out of the way. Logan Seavey obviously will be the man to watch. Trying to go for 2 out of the last 3 years. He's going to be tough to beat.
I'm going to take Justin Grant. He gets around in that building really good. In Chad boat stuff. Justin gives 0 rips. He will make a move necessary to go get a win, and you have to be that way in that building. You've got to be relentless. One guy that he's not going to win. I don't think he's going to win. He's in really good stuff. I think he will contend and be in the mix is Austin Wood. That's a kid. He's from the West Coast, and he's super competitive. He won the SCCT championship this year. He's going to be in a 410 this year. Probably see him a lot with NARC this year, traveling. He's part of the Wood family that, we saw Elk Grove Ford. That's his uncle. His dad, Cale, is a graduate of Prairie City Monroe High School, PCM. So there's a connection there for you. And raced hobby stocks against Tony Bachhoven at Oskaloosa in the 90s. So,
and lived to tell the story.
You know that Tony raced hobby stocks at Oski?
No.
Oh, that's wonderful. His car was like a Jeff Gordon themed car in like 1994.
He might have shown me a picture, but
you'll have to get on him about that. He had an illustrious career as a race car driver that you can harass him about.
I will. I'll be texting him here soon because his new business opens in like 2 days.
Bachoven Monument opens Thursday.
Yeah, on the 8th. Yeah.
So if you've got anyone looking for headstones, that's your guy.
If you know,
hopefully I'm not shopping for one anytime soon, but good to know I got a guy now.
That's right. Hopefully not customers anytime soon. So.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he's busy, but I hope I'm not the one that's shopping there.
Not to talk to you any about this.
Yeah, nothing against Tony. I just hope he's super busy, but not with me.
Yeah.
For my family. But
Kade,
what you got, Kade?
I'll take Steven Snyder Jr.
God damn.
Good pick.
He seems like the nicest
Blake.
person you have ever met. And I assume that he is, Blake.
And he rips too. God, he was so fast last week.
He stopped me on Saturday when he won a qualifier and I interviewed him. He asked if I'd come back and announce the All-Stars because he just wants me to announce his name on the All-Star team. I'm like, I'm pretty content out here at Skagit, but he has been super impressive. He got in the Hefner car in Central Pennsylvania and was really competitive. You're going to see him traveling in a 410 sprint car soon. I'll say in the next couple of years.
Good. Seems like a good dude. And
I
mean, he's a freaking gasser. So it'll be cool
dude.
seeing him out on the road. Nobody took Gio, right? I'll settle with Gio, I guess. Well, you know, he's been pretty decent there. So
for a guy that hates
what car is he in?
He's in a Coons car.
Does he have Chili's?
Yep, it's Chili's sponsored. Keith Coons Motorsports car.
Yeah, he's winning the whole damn thing.
And for a guy that hates driving midgets, he sure gets around in one pretty good. But Gio's just uber talented. I mean, I can't wait to see what he can do on the high limit.
It's a bounce back year for him. Yeah,
he and Eric Klutzman are gonna win races.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. How many triple dippers are you eating next week?
I mean, I had one on the way to. I was at Chicago O'Hare last Monday flying to Shootout, and it was like 11 a.m. Wow. I was like, well, I guess I got one option, right?
I was gonna say
triple dipper it is.
You can have one, you have one. That's how
exactly. We don't have Chili's here in Washington. There's one. It's in downtown Spokane.
Oh, well, you ain't going down there.
Yeah, so if I get over to that side of the state, usually our GM John Hager puts me at the hotel right down the street from the Chili's. It's 1 block away. A short block away from the Davenport.
All right, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen before we get to Saturday. But who are the picks? Who do you guys got? Win it all on Saturday.
I went first that whole time, so I'll go last.
Kade, you go first. You're so chatty. I want to hear from you, guys.
That's a tough one. I'll take the low hanging fruit with Kyle Larson. It's impossible to bet against the guy.
Well,
I'll let you guys justify who you're thinking, though.
Well, I'm also gonna pick a former driller winner myself. I'm not stalling at all looking at the ones that are in the field here and trying to make my decision, but it's definitely going to be someone that I agree with Blake, who said he's going to have a huge season with high limit. It's going to be Tanner Thorson. It's going to get his second driller.
All right. I'm going, man, so that's fourth pick. Let's see. I think you're going to see a first-time driller winner.
I agree.
I think Cannon is going to capitalize on his monster year with USAC and Extreme and get a driller. He gets around in that building so well. Cannon gets a driller. Keith Coons back in victory lane on Saturday.
Yeah. I like it.
There we go.
All right, Mr. Walker.
I said it at the beginning. I think I said it months ago when I've mentioned his name when he came up in the news cycles. I think the year of Dason Pursley starts. It started last week. It's going to continue. I say he wins a Golden Driller. He's going to win his second Golden Driller. Technically, he's going to win the Chili Bowl.
I still have the picture on my phone, Blake, of him when he finished second last year with just in victory lane, head on the steering wheel. And it's like I was the first guy to talk to him.
It's going to happen, and it leads right into a. I think he's going to have a phenomenal year.
Yep.
Sprint car. I think there are chances that he wins 10+ races. And I don't want to completely go over my preseason picks, but I truly think he can win 10+ races this year with KKR. So I think it all starts. I mean, it started last week, but I think Dason gets it done. And it's going to be a party after that. I mean, it is going to be.
I don't think it gets played enough in the media, and I know a lot gets beat up, but if Dason can win the Chili Bowl, I think that's a Hollywood movie. Honestly,
Yeah,
it's
So
a
impressive.
Hollywood movie that they don't realize, because 5 years ago he was told he'd never walk again. Like, you're paralyzed, you're never going to walk again. To not only is he walking, he's pretty much back to 100%, and he's winning races. It's made for movie, made for Hollywood story that, unfortunately, it's dirt track racing, so it probably never gets told, but that's incredible. And I just don't think that gets talked about enough, what he's overcome to get back in a race car and be as competitive he is nothing short of a miracle.
Right. Yeah.
yeah, inspirational stuff.
And
he's
he's
a
good
great
in
kid.
everything. I mean, he is good in everything. I mean, it's hops in it, and he's just so talented. And yeah,
I watched his dad lock into the A main at the IMCA Super Nationals, Clint Pursley, like 2001, back when we had 400 plus modifieds. His dad was a really good modified driver.
And Blake was still in diapers.
Yeah.
Blake Walker was. Yeah.
I was gonna say, which one?
Gosh, we were in grade school then. We were getting ready to go to Berg Middle School.
Oh yeah, oh Berg.
Rest in peace.
that's
Yeah.
fun. Well, Blake, we appreciate your time. Awesome having you back on the show. Congratulations to Newton, by the way, for at least making the state title in football. That was really fun.
Yeah, I
yeah.
hated to see how that ended.
Yeah.
They're
gonna be good.
Making it to the semifinals. Excuse me.
Blake,
Should have been the state title, but
I couldn't read it. I saw maybe it's Bound, where you are,
Yep.
had an article about on Newton should be really competitive this year because they have a lot coming back. So
Yeah.
hope that's the case for Josh and I.
yeah, I think I'm of the belief that Xavier and them should have been the title game. That's just me, but I won't bore everyone else with conversation about that. That's racing fans, but yeah, that was really cool to see. But yeah, we wish you the best of luck next week. So what your timeline here? How long are you still in Washington? Obviously, you got your thing tomorrow for Skagit. When do you fly back down to Tulsa?
Yeah, tomorrow at noon Pacific time, 2 p.m. Central, we'll have our 2026 Skagit Speedway schedule release show live on our YouTube channel, and then we'll have it out. Then I'll be around here till Sunday, 6 a.m. local time. I fly, so I'll take my dog and drop her off on Saturday, and Sunday set the alarm for 2 a.m. on Sunday morning for a drive down to SeaTac, and I think I get in to Tulsa at like 3 o'clock, and I'll probably just go straight to the hotel. By the time I get there, they'll be about done practicing. We'll see. And then there until next Sunday. So it's all week, and hope you guys can join us on Flow Racing. It should be fun all week. A lot of coverage from Flow, a lot of cool pieces. Tyler Burnett does a great job getting content pieces out into the world about what's happening in the building. I'm sure we'll have a piece with Robert Bell at some point, the Pride of Colfax.
It'd be a shame if you guys didn't.
Those
Gotta get the comment.
It's insane. The numbers that Robert Bell pieces do rival the numbers that Larson pieces do.
Insane.
So Robert's entered, I saw.
Oh hell yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Colfax Comet will be ripping.
That's right.
He's
Looking forward.
pulled his car out of the corn crib.
Looking forward to it. You guys all do a great job. Can't wait for
Appreciate it.
When do you guys? I know we'll get the full reveal tomorrow. When does Skagit fire up?
Or last week of April.
Last week, April.
About the same
Okay.
time as us. Yeah.
We have our practice night, I think the night that you guys open. April 18th, I want to say.
Yep.
And then April 25th will open. So it'll be another big season, our 72nd season of racing here, and I'm excited. We've got some new guys jumping into 410s, some guys moving up, which is exciting, which is what we want. We want guys in 410s. We love 410s here at Skagit. I mean, that's part of why Kevin, John, our GM that just walked out, and Brad Sweet, why they got NARC, because we want to push the 410s harder on the West Coast. Going to see purse increases across the West Coast, and some neat things some neat announcements that we've got planned for some West Coast stuff in the coming months too. I'd love to see more West Coast guys get to the Knoxville Nationals. You guys know my heart.
Yeah.
Still, that's my favorite race of the year, my favorite week of the year. And I want to get some of our guys out there. So we'll see, but exciting stuff in tune. I know Knoxville's got some great things in the hopper as well. So it's going to be a lot of neat stuff across the country this year. More money. Kade likes hearing that as a race car driver, I'm sure. We like it. the fans like it. So hopefully it's a big year for sprint car racing in general, not only for us here at Skagit, but for you guys at Knoxville and Pennsylvania and everywhere between.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Don't run. We do need to talk to you real quick after we're done here. But Mr. Walker, you can take us home.
Yeah, so like Josh had talked about at the beginning of the show, no regular show next Monday, January 12th, but we will be live every night after the conclusion of each race for the Chili Bowl. So make sure to join us here. We'll be live talking about what we watched. And then don't forget, we got big news of our own coming up here on Knoxville Nights coming up soon. We should be announcing that here in the next couple of weeks. So don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other platforms. Follow at Team Netcode on all of our social media. And make sure to follow at Josh Gerlach, Josh _Gerlach on Twitter, at Kade Higday for Kade, and at Blake_Walker8 for me. Yeah, that's all we got tonight. Hopefully the Hawkeyes can somehow come back and beat Minnesota. I'm not really sure, but yeah, we appreciate everyone for watching, and we'll see everyone next week. Enjoy your Chili Bowl.